Tim. I would like to introduce, if I may, a very, very vibrant and distinguished and marvelous lady whose movies I have enjoyed through the years, especially with John Wayne, Yvonne De Carlo. Miss De Carlo, can I say welcome?
Oh, Miss De Carlo, can't you call
Yvonne.
me Yvonne?
Yvonne. How have you been?
I've been pretty well, thank you. Yeah. I'm still here.
I mentioned that some of your movies were tropical, and now you're playing at the Tropicana.
Yeah, oh, that goes pretty well.
Good
Yeah,
time.
we're doing Can over there.
In,
We just opened. It's, as you said, vibrant. It is really a vibrant show. All the girls with the skirts going ooh la la, you know.
Of course, you on the stage is nothing new. I loved you in a show called Follies.
Thank you.
I chatted with Stephen Sondheim one time. He told me that he wrote a song for you
Yeah, that's right.
in Follies.
I'm Still Here.
Right.
As a matter of fact, he wrote two. We started off with a tune that he wrote, not a tune, but a big, long, complicated, sort of a special material number called Oh Boy, Can That Boy Foxtrot.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the one joke idea. And then they got rid of that, and they wrote I'm Still Here.
That was a great. They were both good. I loved it. What about working with Alexis Smith? That was one of your when you were on the stage with Alexis Smith. That was
I liked,
two good friends.
It took me about 6-7 months to get to know her because she was all involved in trying to, the whole thing fell on her shoulders. And after I got to know her, we became girlfriends. And we would call each other, hi, girlfriend, hi, girlfriend. And she's been a great girlfriend of mine ever since.
Good lady.
Yeah.
How's Craig Stevens?
I don't know. I think he's wonderful.
That's
They still are just great together,
Good couple.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me introduce Yvonne De Carlo. First of all, let me make it official. Yvonne De Carlo is starring in Can in Atlantic City. At the is that a? I've never been.
At the Tropicana.
I've never been out there, so I don't know how it
There's
works.
so many, it's like Las Vegas, I suppose. There are all these casinos, and it's all new to me. I've never been to Atlantic City. I've been living on a ranch for a year and a half.
You are now a rancher?
I am up very close to Sir Ronald Reagan, yes.
This is one of the most glamorous movie stars in the history of the world. I mean, Yvonne De Carlo is delightful, and you must take some kidding over the fact that you played an older woman in The Munsters.
I
Still.
played an older, like 200 years old.
200
Yeah,
years old,
yeah.
right?
And had many lives. Uh-huh.
That was known as good security for the rest of your life, so far as residuals go, right? Yvonne?
Well, it was, yes. Uh-huh. They still have those on now. I tell you what it's really good for is that the young people still know me, I mean, you don't just disappear because they see the Munsters every day, but they don't understand what happened to my hair. When they take a look at me, they say, what happened to your hair?
It's every part of you is beautiful.
Do I have to go around with the silver streak?
No, just the way you are. Just the way you are.
Joe, it's wonderful to see you again after so many years. How many years has it been since I saw you? Don't say it. Don't say it.
At least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks. Do you enjoy that score in Can? I think that show has
yeah.
more hits than everything on Broadway now combined. I Love Paris.
Yeah, I Love Paris.
It's all right
You
with
hit
me.
it. Yeah.
It's all right with me.
It's all right with me, but then there's one he sings called It's the Wrong Time, It's the Wrong Place, da-da-da-da-da-da, but it's the wrong face. You know that one? Well, I tell you, the one that really gets the public is the I Love Paris. They love that song, and it's a kind of a thrill every night to hear all that.
My guest is Yvonne De Carlo. I want you to meet a couple of my friends, Yvonne. Mr. Tim Choate, this young man, is one of the
I
stars.
asked them if they were a rock group, but they said no, they're not.
Tim, what is your feeling? What do you want to ask or say of one of the all-time
How's
movie?
Clark Gable?
He's dead.
Yes. That's what
He meant how was he to work with?
He's wonderful. He was absolutely one of the most divine people I have ever worked with, and really on the spot, and never late, and always knew his lines. And
I once read that he got cranky if people didn't know their lines, that he was...
yes, he was very strict, and if you didn't show up on time, he would report you to your agent or whatever.
He didn't like extra takes, right?
Yeah, and Alec Guinness was marvelous, and Cecil B. DeMille was marvelous, and
Cecil B. DeMille, I have no biography in front of me of Yvonne De Carlo, but Cecil B. DeMille, what was one of the big pictures?
the Ten Commandments.
He saw this lady's face. He says, "I want that lady's face in the Ten
You're
Commandments."
right. You remember that.
I know everything about
yeah.
Cecil B. DeMille.
He was looking at Nina Foch for the Ten Commandments, so that because he needed a lady to do the princess, who became later the mother of Moses, and he saw me in the scene in another picture, and he said, "That's the face I want for Sephora," and that's how I got that part.
What was the
Incredible.
picture?
Ten Commandments.
That he saw you in.
Oh, the picture, sombrero, yes, and that was with Sid Charisse, and it was an MGM picture.
And with Yvonne De Carlo. Mr. Dan Logan, noted psychic and photographer. What are your flash
Well, I'm
reactions?
slightly annoyed.
Any
because-
flashes?
Well, I don't have any flashes. I'm just a
little
big
bit
fan of
psychic
yours.
myself.
I saw Follies several times. I'm so glad you're back on the boards because it's,
Oh, well, I, not too long ago, I did a thing called Dolly, Hello Dolly, down
Touring.
at Disneyland. No. Across the street is a thing called the Grand Hotel. We did Hello Dolly for about 13 weeks, and that was kind of fun. That was really fun.
I've often wondered where Can That Boy Foxtrot came from because that was in Side
That
by
was
Side by
Stephen.
Sondheim.
Yeah,
They put it in
yeah.
that, but it
Yeah.
wasn't in Follies, though, I guess.
Well, it was in Boston, and then they took it out.
Right.
He didn't think it was my type of thing. Yeah.
Yvonne, one more fan named James Spero who wants to give you an autographed copy of The Great Sights of New York. And Mr. Spero, what are your thoughts or comments on meeting Yvonne De Carlo on TV?
I have a question about Follies, which I saw. It was about, what, 10 years ago? That,
Yeah, 72.
And I was absolutely bowled over by, I thought it was spectacular, one of the most imaginative things I've ever seen on Broadway. But the run wasn't, it was a respectable run, but it wasn't all that long. Do you think if they revived it today, that they would have a wider audience, that people become more
No,
sophisticated?
I've been often wondering that myself.
It was ahead
why?
of its time.
Now, when it went to Schubert Theater, you see, they had just built the theater in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles people are very strange. If they really are with theater, they're very strange. They hadn't heard of the Schubert Theater, and they were tacking down the carpet the first night. It was a new theater.
I know.
So we didn't get the audience that they get now. So now, if they revived, I mean, why doesn't Hal Prince revive it if he thought it was a good idea? So I imagine maybe it's not a good idea. I don't know.
I think it would be far too much money. The extravagance of the sets and the
Yeah.
costumes, I think, would be about triple what it was, and I'm sure it was a fortune then.
The sets are a little bit like Star Wars, don't
Yeah.
you think? I mean,
I was surprised one of you weren't killed during the run of that because of all
One lady broke her back. She fell off
I'm
the
sure.
set and broke
one
her
of the
back.
ghosts? Or one of the...
No, a new lady that took the place of one of the ladies
Yeah.
in the show, and she fell off because it moved suddenly and she broke her back.
Yvonne, you're...
Hello there.
You're,
How are you?
you're great. How have you
Who are
been?
these people?
Yvonne, they're friends of mine. They just dropped into
I thought they were a rock group. I really did.
the nose
Something we should think of.
hubcaps. No.
The
You gotta-
hubcaps. Oh,
The
that's wonderful.
hubcaps?
Let's hear you sing.
They are good. They are good. Yvonne, you're from what state originally?
State. No.
Where?
Canada.
Canada.
Yeah.
Were you discovered for the movies in any offbeat way, any unusual setting, the way you were discovered for
No,
films?
my mother dragged me down to California.
Right.
And and that's what happened. You know those mothers like Rose, Gypsy. And
I
all
was
that.
mentioning about kids. I was mentioning to Tim that over the weekend somebody played me an old recording of a TV show I did with Jackie Cooper. I asked him for an in-depth recollection of his early movie days, and he mentioned his first recollection was when he heard a director say, "Bring in the meat."
Yeah?
They don't treat actors like that nowadays. They wouldn't
No.
dare, right?
Good heavens, no.
But there might have been a time before our time when actors were not respected. Today, of course, they're the symbol. Today, show people are the symbol of glamour and respectability, but there was a time when...
I don't know.
Well, we have a
No.
union now, too.
Right.
But he might not have had one back when he was a
Right.
kid.
You also can become president of the United States. and,
Yes.
That's not
Precisely.
foreseeable.
Precisely. So were there small parts before the big ones? Were there you took off big right away?
There was a number of years of apprenticeship, I call it, at Paramount, and there was many years of studying, and I think it all paid off because it was like getting used to that. See that? Getting used to that. And it's like a monster at first. But now, to me, it's just the most friendliest creature in the world, the camera and I, you know, and the close-up. But at first, it scares you. And so that's called apprenticeship.
Which they don't have anymore.
Getting used to the camera, yeah, training, yeah.
Was there one moment when you began to feel confident? Was there one moment or one movie or one director or one something when you...
No, it comes slowly.
Slowly, yeah?
It comes slowly. It doesn't come at one moment, yeah.
What's
But gee, it's nice seeing you again.
we could do 9 weeks together.
I could say, you're still here.
Were you sad
That
about
song.
Ingrid Bergman passing
Well,
away?
I just only heard about that. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I couldn't believe it.
You know,
Yes.
she was on my program many years ago, on radio, and I've got many recollections. And one thing that she said, that she made this torrid love on the screen with Humphrey Bogart. I mean, fervent love scenes, but they never spoke behind the scenes. Not that they had any fights or any disagreement, but they just never spoke. And you, who have co-starred with all the great leading men, I mean, how? I guess that's the
That
way
could
it is.
happen.
That could happen.
Oh, yes, of course. Because perhaps you just have somebody else that you're interested in, and they have someone else, and there's no way that you go out to dinner together or anything. But on the screen, you're technically so perfect that you make perfect love on the screen.
That's without the socializing back screen.
Yes, right. Yeah, there's no connection between the two. It's technical.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Could be mechanical. Could be technical. Tim, what's your feeling on
Well,
doing love scenes with somebody you barely know?
it's difficult. It's very difficult. But I try to get to know them a little bit first. Not in the way that we're knowing each other in the scene, but just so you can, I don't know, it's a...
Mr. Logan?
Well, you know, it's interesting because the National Choir would love everybody who makes a movie to be living together.
Right.
That's what Americans like to hear, so it's kind of sad to hear that does not happen.
Mr. Spero?
Well, one of the tremendous drawbacks of being in publishing, there are no torrid love scenes in the office. It's all done to secretaries, no one.
We'll work it out for him, right, Yvonne? Get him a good secretary. So far as leading men, if you had to choose one favorite, Yvonne, you have...
Oh, that's a hard question. You know, it really is. It's a toughie.
What about Rory Calhoun?
How about...
What about Rory Calhoun?
What about Rod Cameron?
Well, you did a few movies with him.
What about Rod Cameron? No, I would say you can name somebody a lot more exciting than that, can't you?
John Wayne.
How about Yul Brynner? How about Clark Gable? How about Alec Guinness?
Boy,
Huh?
you were a busy lady there in the
Yeah.
movies. A lot of pictures.
Well, I just did a picture where my leading man was a Rottweiler.
Really?
A what?
That's a dog that was in The Omen, you know, the devil's
Oh,
dog.
yes.
And this dog, have you seen The Omen?
I've
Well,
heard about
anyway,
it.
it's the devil's disciple, and this dog is got a huge chest and short legs, and
Black.
always, you know, and it's always the devil is. So anyway, I had this dog kill 6 people, and then I wanted to kill it because the police were after me, but it killed me. So
What's the movie?
that was rather interesting.
What's the name
Play
of the movie?
Dead. It's not released yet.
What is it called?
Play Dead.
Play Dead.
But everybody was always nice to you all those years. You were never yelled at by any director or berated by any executive or treated contemptuously
Well,
by
yes.
anybody ever in Hollywood?
Yeah, no, except for one time when Robert C. Oddmack.
Now we're getting there, right, panel?
Robert C. Oddmack got out of line once, and I yelled back at him and embarrassed him so much that he never yelled at me again, ever.
That's fabulous. You got to write a book, Yvonne.
I did, and they turned it down because it wasn't smutty enough. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Well, I'll try to figure out a few lies like Shelley Winters did.
Because your life
Quite a
has been
few.
your life has been unsmutty and it's
Well, it's been, I think, very interesting and very fantastic. Like, for example, going for 5 years steady with the Prince of Iran, who is the Shah's brother. That's pretty interesting. And then 3 truck drivers in between. You know.
and the best is yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to see a marvelous show, go to see Yvonne De Carlo. She's a busy lady in Can. One more time, where at the
Oh, the Tropicana in Atlantic City.
And then Salome, where she danced, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Choate in Crimes of the Heart at the...
At the Golden Theater on 45th Street.
And he's a dynamic young actor. Go to see him, Yvonne, if you got a chance.
Okay.
Dan Logan at the festival in
Yes,
Woodstock.
festival at it's in New Paltz, the Woodstock Festival, the
Right,
3rd
if you
through the
wanna-
6th.
And your exhibition is on photography.
Right.
Right. And if you want to know more about good pictures and good books, Dover Books puts out great ones. This one is called The Great Sights of New York, text by James Spero. I want to give it to Yvonne, so in between her engagements on the stage and screen and TV, you might want to take
Thank
a
you.
walking tour with me.
Yes. Oh,
These
great.
words, then on with more spectacular people as we thank the delightful De Carlo.
Thank you.
The best.